Okay, now I'm gonna show you the ideas we have in terms of conduit connectivity and how to show and edit um, the conduit connectivity in a given node. Okay, so this is the fun part because this is where they have a lot of you can say pain today, and I have seen many telcos that have problem with this. So basically the DS system typical supports that you can click a node and you can choose some conduits in some list and kind of tell which conduits are connected to each other, micro conduits. And it's typical, very simple and very difficult to kind of get an overview of what you have connected and what not. And the way you look at it on the screen is typical. I mean, you have to kind of have an image in your head how it looks in real life because the system is just, maybe it's a tree you can fold out and connect things and stuff like that. And it can be difficult to do it correctly. And many times it takes a long time to learn the system for the planner to be able to do it correctly. And the information is not usable for the people in the field because they cannot figure out what they should do with it, how they should connect things. And therefore, typical, the planner also creates some diagrams in Visio, PowerPoint, whatever, on the side to kind of show how things should be connected. And, and this is what we should try to solve here, that they don't need to do that. Because one thing is that the planner has to do things and do it correctly, so we don't do any mistake in that process. And it's important that the people in the field can get access this information very easily, so they don't do mistake in this process. Um, this is, I think, one of the main challenging things in the planning process. And of course, the reason is, as I have told many times before, when you have digged up, the roads and connect all these things and, put everything back in place, it's really a big, big issue if things are connected wrong underneath the ground, because then you have to dig everything up again, basically. This conduit connectivity is really important. Unlike the fiber connectivity part that we'll look at later, everything is not underground. It will be in some, at least it will be in some well you can open up and change stuff, and in some cabinets. So if there's a mistake, someone can go out and fix it easily. That does not mean it does not cost money, but it's easier than if it's inside the ground, like the pipe system. So that's why these pipe systems are so special. Okay, as you have seen in the other video, we have this little planned area here where there's some houses who needs fiber. And we have placed this cabinet here. This is a cabinet who provide the cables to each customer. And this cabinet is connected to the main trans out here using that's a little trans going from a cabinet to a node here, it's so-called conduit junction node, where we're gonna branch out some micro ducts from the multi ducts to a single ducts going into this cabinet, or yeah, splice point. So what the planner will do is that she will create the trances, the root network. She will maybe place this cabinet so she knows that this is where the cabinet should be. And then she will put a single conduit from the cabinet to this junction. This is a functionality I have not actually explained yet. There needs to be a tool where you can kind of pick two nodes and then you can put in some conduits, some multi-conduits, some single conduits and so forth. Some kind of wizard, and then you will tell the system, okay, from here to here, there needs to be some conduit. And underneath we do a shortest path and tell the user, okay, is this where you want to put your stuff? And maybe they can change that a little, and then they can put their stuff in. So in this case, very simple, you click these two nodes, say, okay, I want to put some conduit, a single conduit from here to here. but then the system will register there's a single conduit from here to here, but not how it's connected, okay? And this is what I'm gonna show you now, how that we imagine that should work. So the idea is you click this guy here, the J1020, and then you want to connect things inside this guy here. I'm gonna show you some description I have made here. So once you click, before anything is connected, once you click that node, the idea is that it should show what is going on this node. And in the first place, what is going on in this node is what you see in this screen here. So basically, there's two multi-docs running through, or passing through, as we call it, the node. So nothing is happening, actually. They're just passing through. And this is, we have the 7 times 12 and the 10 times 10 conduits. And the idea is that we should show that, so it's very easy for the user to see, okay, these two run through. There are these inner ducts or micro ducts inside them, and some of them will be empty, and some of them will be used already. And this is of course important because they don't want to cut a pipe that's already used. And in this case here, it's very simple because not much connected in this network yet. So there's only one pipe used in the 712, and this is the black one where there's a cable going from this node to this node. And the idea is here in the ends here we can see where it goes from and to. So in this case, there's actually blown a cable inside this pipe, and what is really interesting then is to know where does this cable go from and to. And so it just says that it goes from this central office to this central office. If you see the others, they are empty, and they just say there's another node written here. This is because this is where the pipe is going from and to. And it's not necessarily the same nodes as like a cable will go from and to. I can try to show it in a map here. So you can see it says that there goes a pipe from this one. This is a well. And don't worry, we'll get into wells later. They work pretty much like junctions, but then again, not exactly. But you can imagine that there's all the pipes here, these two pipes here, they start here, right? And then they go actually all the way to this guy here, down here, that also has a well outside. Okay. So that's why you see these two names here. So HH means handhold. So if we begin to blow some cables in here, they might go different places because you can blow a cable inside a pipe and then put in another pipe and maybe to a cabinet or something. Then you will have some other names here. But don't worry about that now. It will make more sense when we have, your web service running and you can see what's data coming out of it. Okay, so the idea is she has clicked the node. It shows what's going through the node. That's of course important. And then it also will show the conduits that actually just, ending in that node she has clicked on. In this case, there will be this single duct she has put in. Remember, she put a single conduit from the cabinet, which was named like this, to this node, right? I hope this makes sense. This node we are looking at here is this guy here, and this is the cabinet, and she has put this single conduit here. So this is the one we look at here. So what she like to do is, of course, she want to connect this single conduit she has put here with a multi-conduit here. So she can blow a cable to this cabinet, right? And now I just realized I actually made a mistake because no, I did not. see, so you can see this one, it goes to handhole 0101, this multi-duct here, and this should be the one at the flex point. Yes, it is. Okay, I didn't make a mistake in my drawing. So you can imagine there's some pipes. One of the multi-ducts, the one they call 10 times 10, it actually starts here in this guy. And this is what she's interested in, because what you want to do is blow a cable from this guy all the way to the new cabinet she has made, the customer cabinet. So she wants to use one of the pipes from this well and connect it to the cabinet down here. So she wants to make what we call a breakout of the multi-duct, connect it to the the single duct here into this guy. Okay. The way I envision we can do that very easily for the user is that when you have this UI component that show all this stuff here, she can mark, like click on the stuff she wants to connect. So in this case, you want to, let's say, take the blue one here from this guy, and you want to connect it to the orange um, single conduit, single duct that goes to the cabinet. So in real life, what you want is that someone dig down, cut a hole in this multi-duct here, make this window as I explained in another video, and then cut over this blue microduct, inner duct, and connect it to the orange duct and put a junction around it, right? So the idea is to click on this and click some button, like connect these pipes together, and the system will automatically do that for her. I mean, connect these and figure out what junction she has to use. So after she clicked on it, the UI will look suddenly like this. Okay, so now there's only one. The 7 times 12, it still just passed through that node. Nothing, we still haven't fiddled with that one. So it's just like it was on the other picture. But then the system will have created a so-called junction and put their 10 times 10 inside that junction. And it will have made a breakout of the blue one. It cut this one over. Actually, it also cut the orange outer duct over. And then it cuts the blue one inner duct over. The others just go through, right? And then it connects the blue one to the orange one that goes to splice point 1020, which is the customer cabinet. And what the system can actually do then, because it knows that this guy here, this multi-duct, is running through, right? So of course it will use a junction where you can kind of run such things through, and then it knows you have to branch out a single pipe, and it will choose a junction where you can branch out, like there's a side port on where you can branch out, something. So you can imagine that this is just a box where you can let the big pipe run through, and then there's some ports you can put on where you can kind of put some pipes out, branch some pipes out. In the other video, you saw some real picture of how this thing looked like. So the system will be able to figure out that this is the kind of junction to be used, and will return all the data after this operation to be able to draw this in the UI. There's only one thing that the system cannot know, and that is if you want this port to be here or maybe up here. I mean, you can think of now, this actually matches because you go down here and it will make a branch out like down there. But it may be also be that the cabinet was here, that the branch out have to be, on the top. So maybe she would like this guy here to be up here. So this port here should be here. So maybe there should be some kind of functionality to select, okay, this port should actually be here, and the system had to be able to redraw this stuff and show it's up here. But the angle of it will be like this. And the system will know that because if a pipe comes from here, of course, you cannot bend the pipe too much. So it will kind of go out like this, and down here. It will not go like around like this, for example, because that's too much bend of the fiber cable. So the angle will be here. But it might also be some junction where there is two ports on this face, so that the cable just go like this. So these different types of junction we have to discuss and how we model them are in the most easy way and display them in the most easy way. The whole idea is, of course, that the UI should automatically draw this. The customer, the user should not touch this, should not draw anything. They should just click things and say this and this should be connected, and maybe move around on the port and tell this port should be up here instead. Maybe the user should also maybe click this guy here, the junction, and say, okay, this is not the type of junction I want to use another kind, maybe. So that's probably also going to be a requirement. But they have maybe like 3 or 4 types of junctions they use, conduit junctions. But as you can see here, it's very easy to see what's going on. And it's also easy for a field crew when he clicked that node, if he sees something like this, he knows exactly what to do. So that's the whole idea, that we kind of combine, we have the data underlying model that of course knows everything, how everything is connected. This is also what we have today in the DS system today. But what is different is we actually create a UI that tries to reflect what it looks like in real life. So that's the whole idea, because then we save a lot of work, because then the system has already created the documentation that is needed out there for the technician to know what to do. And of course, in this case here, it's very simple. It's just one microduct that just branches out. But you can imagine if we have a multi-duct going in here, it can be more advanced. And actually, you can have places where you have several, maybe 4 multi-ducts going into the same junction. It's not that often, but there are places like, crossroads and stuff where a lot of pipes meet. And there it can be quite difficult for them to understand how it works unless they have some kind of diagram like this. So the diagram can be bigger, but of course it's just a matter of, there can be more pipes going in and out, but the principles are the same. So I was thinking the service will return some data that tells that that's the junction, and it has so many ports. The ports are placed, on which side the ports are placed. If they are angled, like straight, 45 one way, 45 the other way, so it can be, different angles on them. And then it will tell which conduits are going into which port and how they are connected. And with that information, we should be able to draw this thing in the UI. That's at least the idea. So try look at this. There's some description in this guy here too, where I try to explain a little about what is the idea about this, and then try think a little about it. How can we do this? Also in terms of the service behind this, how would you like that one to work so it's easy to do this kind of stuff? Actually, I have been thinking about letting the service actually render the whole picture, but I don't know if that's a good idea. That's because I'm not a front-end developer, so I think, okay, if I have to do this, I will actually create some geodata like this. That could be so we can just display in maybe a Mapbox control. However, I have no idea if that's a good idea. Maybe it's better to kind of display this using some SVD or whatever. I have no idea. So that's what you should find out. What is the best way to display this? You should know that they probably like maybe to, of course, they like to show it on the screen, but maybe also the technician or field crew to maybe like to print it out or something. I don't know. So um, yeah, this is this is I think this is if you get this up running and try to play with this, this is really gonna be cool. So this is gonna be the differentiator. So I think also this will probably be the most advanced UI we will have in the solution. So that's why I like to explain it to you now. So you can kind of think of this that we will have to make this stuff. Okay. Yes. Bye bye.